They're always talking to Perrin.
Let's play that ad. This podcast is sponsored by Restream. Why live stream to one platform when you can simultaneously live stream to every platform to discover new audiences faster using Restream.io?
Your daily drop on gaming, live streaming, and social media today is Shroud is breaking Twitch streaming records. He even seemed a little surprised himself. Andrew Perrin, Andrew Wall, how unexpected to you guys was this record-shattering stream?
It was very unexpected for me. I mean, Dr. Disrespect with his YouTube return stream broke over 500 concurrent viewers. I thought that, that was the biggest we could see in modern times, was breaking over 500,000. And Dr. Disrespect's return was driven primarily, of course, by speculation around, why he was banned from Twitch, all of this media coverage, this PR coverage, and he was on YouTube, a much larger platform than Twitch. I figured the algorithm would be pushing him there. All the news outlets were covering Dr. Disrespect, so like 500,000 concurrent viewers for Doc. Figured that was it, right? Well, it turns out Shroud, with basically no controversy, is able to break over those numbers, and we actually get to see how much money he made on his first stream, the total number of viewers, all the analytics. I'm blown away here. This is a total record breaker, and it's really cool to be able to actually see the numbers. Perrin, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I would have probably predicted like 200. I think it would have been like a peak, because for the same reasons, he didn't have the kind of controversy and press coverage. And he didn't have what Ninja had either. He was just kind of like the more quiet one, where like no one really knew where he was gonna go, but they thought probably Twitch, hopefully Twitch. And the Twitch community welcomed him back with open arms. So maybe this is just kind of the Twitch community saying, they haven't really left their platform really too much for Ninja on Mixer, and maybe so much for Doc on YouTube. They're here and they're ready for Shroud, their boy, to be back, and they're showing the support. It was pretty crazy. He got 16,524 new subscriptions in one single stream, and this was a 7-hour stream. I like this today though, because he actually showed us the numbers and sent these through his official Twitter account. And this is why we want to do an episode today, right guys? Because we don't really get to see this behind the scene numbers too much, and seeing this many subs in a single stream and that high of concurrent viewership on someone who didn't really do like the press thing while he was away. He just took a vacation, just relaxed, did his thing. It kind of changes the game for streamers. I think it's less like when you get successful, it's less like you have to stream as much as humanly possible. Maybe you don't have to do that realistically. Maybe taking a break is good for everybody. I don't know. What do you think, Russ?
I think it gets the juices flowing. I think that's actually a good point. It's selfishly, I don't want them to, obviously, but I don't think it's a bad idea for streamers, these big time streamers, to take a little break, just get back in the rhythm of things, just so they don't get completely burnt out doing it. I did some math, boys. I did some math here. We were looking at those numbers, the 16,000 plus subscribers in one session here. If let's just say he gets 75%. I know we talked 80, but let's just say, take the lower number here. He gets 75% of what he makes off those subscriptions.
So that's $4.99 per subscription,
right?
16,000 subscriptions, and let's say he gets 75% of the money from those subscriptions. Okay, how much money did he make in one live stream?
About $61,000.
$61,000 per month. So this is reoccurring revenue. So if he makes 61,000, and that's just one stream, obviously he's going to make more. So if you're making $61,000 per month over the course of 12 months, let's say that's the only subscription Shroud ever gets for the rest of time, you're looking at $732,000 per year in reoccurring subscription revenue. And so obviously you guys can see why Twitch and Mixer and these other platforms have offered these big multi-million-dollar contracts to these guys, because in just one stream, this guy is making close to $1 million a year already. And that doesn't include donations or sponsorships, which will easily double that number and, be something like $1.5 million per year. So this is really, really cool to actually see that number. Now, of course, we can see through industry reports who the top subscribed channels are. I think we can easily assume that Shroud is going to break into probably the top 5, certainly the top 10, but probably the top 5 most subscribed channels on Twitch moving forward, up there with Summit and Tim the Tap Man, and where Dr. Disrespect used to be. So what do you think, Ross? I mean, is Shroud going to be the kind of poster boy of Twitch moving forward? Is he going to be like the guy? I mean, Tim the Tap Man, Summit are obviously there, the old school guys that have been there for a long time. But do you think this momentum of Shroud returning to Twitch is going to make him the face of Twitch? Obviously, Ninja is going to be coming back to Twitch as well. What are your thoughts on that?
It certainly doesn't hurt his case to be, especially when you get a live look at these numbers. I think initially, I mean, this could just be a case of kind of look what Perrin was talking about, where you take a certain amount of time off. That kind of helps build the hype a little bit, and then you're able to jump back in with a lot of momentum. So I think the most interesting part is going to be see how long this momentum actually continues. So I would say for at least the next month or two, or maybe 3, maybe through the end of the year. I don't know. It could be forever. There's a very good chance of it. But yeah, he's definitely going to be the face for at least a short amount of time.
Perrin, it looks, I mean, it smells to me like he's riding a wave here in terms of Twitch's growth over time. And he's returning at the right place at the right time. Perrin, I know you have the numbers that you may want to walk us through. Walk us through the numbers on Twitch's growth on the platform. And let's talk about Twitch is returning at what point in this diagram? And could that be helping his case at this moment?
Yeah, so I'll try to pinpoint here where Shroud is going to be coming in. Somewhere like up in here, and draw a little Shroud dot right here for it as well. So, you know, since the beginning of Q1 here, 2020, Twitch was at about 1.2 million average concurrent viewers, and in half a year's time, they've doubled to 2.35 million concurrent viewers. I would say that our predictions back when we went through this Hatchet report were correct, and that this is continuing to surge upwards, having that much viewership before his stream even started. And, you know, it's funny because it's not that the intro was particularly entertaining. His sound actually didn't work at all. Like, he had like a kick-ass intro, but the sound didn't work, and he like messed up the bitrate or something too. So the stream was messed up from the beginning, and there was nothing there to watch but silent video, although it was pretty cool video. Still 500,000 concurrent viewers. It just shows you the need, the hunger for this type of content, for big kind of celebrity gaming live streaming content on Twitch, which means that the audience is still here for all the reasons that we laid out before. You know, coronavirus, COVID-19, locking people inside, having less things to do outside so much, people wanting to stay safe and resorting to online content. They're hungry for somebody like Shroud. They want a big talent to entertain them. And Shroud is unique amongst these other ones, where Dr. Disrespect is kind of high production value. Ninja is kind of high entertainment. Shroud is high skill and kind of like relaxing, I would say, to put on. He's got like a soothing voice. He doesn't like shout very often or get like super excited. It's just kind of nice background to put on. So a lot of people say I put Shroud on all the time. I'm not always watching it, but I'm listening to it. And then when something cool is happening, maybe I tune in. So he gets a lot of kind of passive viewership as well, just so it's like someone else is in the room with you with Shroud. So he's got this nice effect where he can be very relaxed with the stream. It doesn't have to be super high budget or anything like that. And he's still raking in tons and tons of concurrent viewership.
Completely agree. And, you know, Shroud, there's been chatter also, you know, he's gotten some PR bump. People speculating, Dr. Disrespect in particular, speculating that he might go pro again. But Shroud, because of his skill level, and on YouTube, he was running a strategy. I don't know if you want to pull up his YouTube channel, but while he was transitioning, you know, he stopped his Mixer contract. People speculate he made $10 million off of that with the early cutoff there. They also speculate that Shroud was offered we can hear that audio. Shroud was offered $20 million to join Facebook Gaming to finish out his contract. He declined that, and he decided to move over to Twitch, speculatively speaking. So during this downtime, and this is something that I want to share with all of you guys in terms of your YouTube strategy. If you have to go on vacation, obviously Shroud's not on vacation here, but if you have to go on vacation or you're going to be out for a bit and you know you're not going to have any fresh content, one thing you can do is what Shroud did here. And he just had his editor put together his greatest hits of all time, skill shot videos and what have you here. So we're talking his best one taps, his best ever snipes, his best flicks, his best plays, his best clutches. And he kind of hit these back-to-back gameplay videos and edited videos on his YouTube channel. And they actually performed insanely well, as you can see, quote unquote evergreen content. And so for you content creators out there that have made, you know, hundreds, maybe 1,000 videos, and you're like, God, I can never take a vacation. I can never take a break. You can potentially just make a series of greatest hits videos in your best moments over time and release those for about a week while you have to take a break. This strategy worked incredibly well. Each one of these videos got over 1 million views. People were hungry for Shroud while he was gone. And I found myself chugging a few of these videos myself and watching about an hour and a half of Shroud one-tapping people and doing preposterous aiming skill. So this was a great downtime YouTube strategy that you guys should take note of, and it kept interest up in Shroud while he was waiting to go back to that transition to Twitch. So the question is there still a growth wave happening on Twitch? Is Twitch still the platform that has the greatest opportunity for these superstars to become even bigger? I mean, obviously the chart here has 2.3 million average concurrent viewers on Twitch at any given time. YouTube, by contrast, has 1 million. And Dr. Disrespect went, like I mentioned earlier, when he went back to YouTube, he also got 500,000 concurrent viewers on his YouTube channel. And there is less than half of the total audience there. So what do you guys think? Is there a moment right now where YouTube can potentially generate a bigger streaming star in terms of average concurrent viewers than Twitch? What are you guys' thoughts on that?
I think this is where it doesn't matter what the platform is. It's almost more pop gaming culture now. Like, I don't think the 500K viewership on YouTube was YouTube. And I don't think the 500K viewership on Twitch was all Twitch. I think a lot of that is just gaming culture, and they're going to go to whatever platform these stars are going to because they have the power over the platforms now with how big they are. They're stars. So the 500K, they're just gamers who want to watch Dr. Disrespect. They're just gamers who want to watch Shroud, and they'll go over to YouTube to watch it because that's where he is, or they'll go to Twitch because that's where he is. I don't think that those high numbers are specific to the growth on those platforms. Now, the stars being on those platforms can now bring those users over more regularly and help growth. But if you noticed after the initial kind of like hype, after the 500K, it definitely ironed out back down to like 130 to like 180 concurrents, which is more of like what the on-platform max.
It's more normal. It's less preposterous. Yeah, yeah.
All of those other people were just coming in for the big event. I think, you know, this might extend outside of gamers too. We're just excited for big events online because there's not as many big events, at least in the US of A, that we can go to safely right now. So having a big online event is an occasion for us. We like it. We're gonna go at least see the beginning of it, see what it's about, participate in the hype, and be there to be part of it because they were part of something. I think most of us as gamers just want to be part of something fun and different, and that's what you're seeing in the beginning. So yeah, the viewership numbers will iron back down to normal levels. The initial hype is just the whole internet is going at these places, not the audience specific from the platform.
Yeah, that's a really good point. You're talking about actual celebrities here. People follow celebrities wherever they go. And I really think that's a good point. That's something I had never really considered, Perrin, is that these people, it really has more to do with their celebrity status than what it does the actual platform, that people are going to follow them everywhere. And then it's going to iron back out, you know, once they've got their fill, once they see what's kind of going on in the rumor mill. So I think that's a fantastic point. And I think that's something that we should all consider, especially moving forward when we talk about these big moves that these big streamers are making, is their celebrity status and how that 100% plays a huge role in their viewership.
I'm going to disagree with you guys significantly here. So I don't think that their celebrity status is what drove this viewership.
I don't think it drove all of it. It helped.
I don't think it helped. I think obviously it helped. People, it's like obviously people know about them and they're big streamers and that's why people came. But I don't think I don't think that's the only factor here. So let's take for example when Shroud and Ninja went over to Mixer. That was noteworthy. That was covered by all of the PR outlets. It was full industry-wide coverage. And they went ahead and they launched their streams on Mixer, and their numbers were not even close. They were a fraction of what Dr. Disrespect and what Shroud have generated right now, returning back to major platforms. And so I think watching Ninja and Shroud go over to Mixer and watching their launches there, I think it was like 100, 150K concurrent, something like that, max. This is at like, close to peak Shroud and pretty big Ninja. Their celebrity only carried maybe, let's say a 1/4 of the audience that we're seeing today with these returns back to YouTube and back to Twitch. So I think the platforms are still much more important and much bigger and a much larger factor than the actual personalities on those platforms. We've done episodes in the past where we talked about with Dr. Disrespect, for example, being banned from Twitch, and we all, and Ross polled us, and he asked us, let's say that they eliminated all 5 of the top 5 talent or all 10 of the top 10 talent on Twitch. Would that impact Twitch at all? And we all unanimously agreed, no, it wouldn't really impact Twitch at all, and or very little. And I still hold that position. I think that these platforms are much bigger and much more important than the talent on the platforms, the top talent. And these viewers that you see in this chart here, these 2.3 million concurrent viewers on Twitch, are going to just watch whoever's there now. Twitch is too big to fail. Twitch is too big for any 1 or 10 personalities to make a massive impact on the platforms. And the same thing is the case with YouTube. Dr. Disrespect, I don't know. I'll stop there. Do you guys still agree with that point, or do you feel with these returns of Dr. Disrespect getting 500,000 concurrents, this return of Shroud getting 500,000 concurrents, that these celebrities are all of a sudden now showing us that they can drive a giant audience, whereas in the past they couldn't? I don't know. I feel like those two things are at odds with each other.
Well, there's a couple different parts of the scenario. First, you've got COVID-19 now, which has changed and dramatically increased viewership across all platforms. So yeah, part of it is the platform. Part of it is the current world situation that we're in. And part of it is the huge breaks they took. Did Ninja take a huge break before he went over to Mixer, or did he just sign the deal and go straight over? As far as I know, he just went straight over to Mixer and just kept going, from what I can remember.
There was a small break. And then he went over. Yeah.
Here's the thing, and this is what I really wanted to get to in this episode, was how breaks are really important. The general live streamer community has had this mentality that every hour you're not streaming, you're losing followers, you're losing possible donations and subscriptions, and this is completely wrong. There's, in the marketing side of things and the advertising side of things, there's such a thing as oversaturating your audience with your content, to where you basically dilute them and they become less interested because you bombard them with it all the time. So there is an effect, and this is where, those of us who grew up watching, having to wait, a week or a month for a new television episode instead of being able to binge it, we understand this concept. If you starve us and make us want something more, we're gonna shift our schedules to tune out for the new thing, right? So if instead of binging it all at once, let us wait and build anticipation and build hype. The vacation that Shroud took, and the vacation and like the month or more time that Dr. Disrespect took off and took away, built up anticipation for them to come back through the roof. Everybody wanted, and that's all we could talk about while they were gone. This is how you know this is what happened, because all anybody could talk about while Dr. Disrespect was, when he's gone, when is he going to come back? What's he going to do? Even with Shroud had less drama around it, but you still saw chatter of, well, what's Shroud going to do? Because he's in the same boat as Ninja, but we haven't heard from him. And all we want to do, we just want to know, right? So take this, creators, as a strategy item. You can actually stop streaming and allow your audience to understand what life is like without your content. Allow them to miss it a little bit and want it more. And then when you come back, I almost guarantee you'll see an increase in viewership if you wait a little bit and do a strategy like that, where you give yourself some breaks and give your audience a break. I think that's a huge factor of what happened here. That and COVID-19 are the difference makers. I don't think the platforms have a little bit to do with it, but they're the 130,000. They're not the additional 370,000 that are coming to tune in. That's just the rest of the internet caring a lot about this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think the secret ingredient to these numbers that we're seeing, these massive Dr. Disrespect numbers and massive Shroud numbers, the secret ingredient is drama. Like, nobody is really wrong here. Hey, well, I think you're 100% right that it is platform driven, but when you mix, there was no drama when they left to go to Mixer. They got a contract and they go to a different platform. There's no drama in that, but there's a lot of drama in Mixer being shut down, Facebook Gaming, another streaming service coming over and taking it, and then everything going on with Dr. Disrespect. It was the perfect storm of drama to be able to hit these numbers, I think. So yeah, I think that would be the key, and I still tend to agree with what Perrin said. I think breaks are important. I think they can be an important part of your strategy. But yeah, it's drama. It's drama. It's like tabloids. This is gaming tabloids, essentially. We're all going to go tune in, at least for the first little part, to see what happens, see what's addressed, see what Shroud's saying, seeing what Dr. Disrespect's saying. The numbers are going to, balance out eventually. But for the initial wave, the drama is what's helping create these numbers.
I love it. I totally agree with you. The drama of it, the human beings absorb information in story arcs. That's why every story has an act 1, a setup, and act 2, where the conflict starts to happen, and then in act 3 where you have a conflict resolution. And in this case, that's exactly what happened, right? We had the setup. These guys became mega streamers on their platforms. Act 2, Dr. Disrespect was banned from Twitch. And then act 3, his triumphant return to YouTube. And humans just...
It's literally a story, yeah.
Yeah, humans chug 3-act stories. And we love it. And the same thing with Shroud, right? Mixer, Shroud goes to Mixer and it doesn't work out. Mixer gets shut down. What's Shroud gonna do? His triumphant return to YouTube, and all the audience stands up and applauds. So the story and the drama are definitely a huge factor. So what I'm curious to see, and what we're gonna keep an eye on here at the Digital Drop Podcast, is are there concurrent viewer numbers that they are achieving now? Dr. Disrespect, Shroud, now coming up Ninja as he makes his big return. Are their concurrent viewer numbers going to eclipse what we saw in the past for them, their normal, high point numbers, if you will? So what I mean by that is, right now, Dr. Disrespect, on average on his streams, is getting over 100,000 concurrent viewers, just average. I think he's like averaging 120K on his third return stream. This isn't like his one comeback stream. He's now like still over 100K on average. Whereas on Twitch, at his prime on Twitch, he was getting 24K on Twitch. So is he going to be able to maintain an average concurrent viewer count much higher than that 24? My guess is yes. My guess is Doc's numbers are going to settle around 50K. So he will have essentially doubled himself by moving over to YouTube. I'm going to guess that. And I think with Shroud, we will see what happens with Shroud. I don't know if Shroud is going to be able to carry and stay above that 30K-ish mark that he used to be at his prime on Twitch, and be up at 60K on average. I don't know if Twitch has that potential, is what I'm trying to say. Whereas I think YouTube does. I think there's a lot more gray space. There's a lot more air on YouTube. There's a lot more space for people to grow on YouTube. And there's a lot less competition on YouTube for a personality like Dr. Disrespect to soak up eyeballs and to soak up interest there. Whereas on Twitch, there's 10 million streamers there, and there isn't as much air, if you will, or open space for a mega celebrity to consistently suck up concurrent viewers. So I'm curious. It's going to be interesting to contrast those two, just so all the audience and all the streamers and creators out there can watch and see which platform actually has the greatest growth potential. We can actually look at the top guys to see some of those indicators. Does that make sense?
Actually, this is really, the way that this turned out is perfect as a case study scenario to look at now at the platform's effect. We'll have to give it a little bit of time as like the hype dies down, they get into regular streaming schedules. But the fact that both of them went to different platforms and had almost the exact same high, like max viewer number, 500,000, it puts them on equal settings to then now look at them as each as different case studies. So how does Doc fare on YouTube versus how does Shroud fare on Twitch? And I do agree with you. I think it'll be harder on Twitch. But we do have increased viewership. So I think Shroud will have increased viewership, concurrent viewership from what he had before, because we're in the coronavirus like effect of more people watching streams. YouTube is in that situation too. So I don't know. It's going to be interesting. We're going to continue to study this, I have a feeling, because you couldn't ask for a more perfect, even start for us now to be able to measure this as they continue on their strategies.
That makes sense. And folks are asking in chat, wait, don't they multi-stream? Doc and Shroud are not currently multi-streaming, but we are. We're currently live on Twitch. Hey guys, D Live, what's up? Facebook, there's even people watching us Facebook, tons of people on YouTube and Periscope. Good to see all of you. If you want a multi-stream, which we're going to be doing an episode coming up on, actually Perrin just randomly got YouTube blowing up on his multi-stream, his restream. So we're going to talk about maybe strategies if we can get that growing for him. If you guys want to stream on multiple platforms at the same time like we do, use the link in the description of this video, also in our about sections and bios for Digital Drop Podcast to get $10 off your first month of Restream.io, and you can get 25% off. Do not pay full price, creators. Use code DROP25. That's code DROP25 with no space to get 25% off Restream.io. We love it. We use it. We've used it for years. We recommend it to you guys. Ross, get us the heck out of here.
That was your daily drop. Full replays on YouTube. Listen to the audio podcast. Give us a good rating on iTunes, Google Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We will be back tomorrow, Friday Fun Day. I've got a good topic, guys. Can't wait to tell you. And we'll see what we can do. Happy creating. We'll see you tomorrow.
Control room shot. Bye, guys.